Now we want to go back to Jennifer Pierce, a reporter who has been in Oklahoma City, not too far from the Kilpatrick Turnpike in Eastern, because we understand Jen is actually getting an update from the fire department. Jen?
Yeah, Amanda, Carl, we do have Scott Douglas here from Oklahoma City Fire Department, and you guys have been certainly busy today. Tell us what's going on right now.
So we did get the head of the fire extinguished. So now what we're trying to do is get to these tougher areas that we were unable to access. There's a lot of homes tucked into these trees. The neighborhood behind me, there's a lot of residences in there. So we initially committed our resources just to protecting the homes. So the tough thing with this was just access. You know, it wasn't a wide open prairie where we could release our brush pumpers and attack the fire. It was just very difficult for us to access. And we do have the Bambi bucket, which we team up with Oklahoma City Police Department to fly. But with the low visibility, there's some large towers and some cables that are stretched to the ground. They weren't comfortable flying, so we sure could have used that piece of equipment. But they did fly a little bit further east of here on another grass fire, so it was used today, just not on this fire. But our firefighters are still working. We've still not accessed all the fire. We've got the main body of the fire knocked down, protected as many residents as we could. We did lose a couple structures. We're doing damage estimates now. The police department's helping us along with some firefighters. We're going around checking residences, but we're not exactly sure how many structures we've lost yet, but we'll be here through the night.
And how wide of an area do you think that the fires impacted here in the eastern part of the city?
Well, it started, initially we put out a evacuation notice from Eastern all the way to I-35 in between Hefner and 122nd, because we just wasn't sure what the Oklahoma winds were going to do, and getting ahead of this was tough. So that's the main area is in between Eastern and Bryant, in between Hefner and 122nd. So the fire just started a little bit west of here, and we were talking with some OG&E representatives, and initial reports was started from a down power line. We've had several fires across the metro today. At one point we were working 8 grass fires and 2 structure fires. So it's been a busy day for us, so we're thinking this was started from a power line, but we're not for sure yet.
Okay, and well, we certainly appreciate all of the hard work that you all have been putting in, and so do the residents. And that's what I was going to ask, if you have any idea of the location where this started, and how soon do you think you'll be able to know how the fire started?
We're looking into that. Our fire investigators are looking into it. Right now, we're still in extinguish it mode. So normally we try to extinguish all the fire, and then we start backtracking into the causes and damage assessments. So, like I said, we'll be here through the night, most likely into tomorrow. With the widespread damage that we had, we have so much fire yet still to access, so we'll be here most likely through the night into tomorrow.
And were there any other parts of the city that were where fire started, or was it just mainly contained to this eastern corridor?
This was the main one. We did have one that was a little bit further east from here, and we did have several other fires. Fortunately, they were smaller fires. We did have some outbuilding fires that were started, but this was the main one, and then a little bit further east of here was where the main fires were today.
Okay, and folks are still evacuated from their homes. I know this neighborhood back here had to be evacuated. Do you know about how many residents had to be evacuated?
I don't have a number on the residents, but we just want to say thank you to those that did evacuate. Y'all were great. This is a tough situation with a fire approaching your home. So if you lived in this neighborhood behind us, we just want to thank you for your cooperation. I know it's tough to leave your home, but the streets were just almost zero visibility. We had busy fire trucks up and down. So thank you that if you did have to evacuate, we were doing our best to extinguish the fire safely and keep everybody around the surrounding area safe.
And we've talked a lot about the trees, the cedar trees. That had to really fuel this massive fire.
Yes. Yeah, we call them they're basically sticks of dynamite just waiting to go up. And a lot of times when there's thick cedar trees around, it's hard to distinguish it from a house. So, sometimes we don't know what we're up against. When we're in there with a brush pumper, we're trying to extinguish the fire. These cedar trees just put out so much fire. It just creates zero visibility. You don't really know what you're up against. And this was a heavily wooded area with a lot of cedar trees that made it tough for us.
All right. Well, again, Scott Douglas, thank you so much for updating us. And we'll send it back to you guys there in the studio. Live from Northeast Oklahoma City, Jennifer Pierce, Oklahoma's Own News 9.